Hello and welcome to Down and Dirty with Darci. I'm your host, Darci Smith, also known as Career Coach Darci. We are here to get down and dirty about careers, uncovering salaries, wild stories, backgrounds, and more from guests with some of the most eccentric professions each week. This podcast is presented by Onomy. Welcome back to Down and Dirty with Darci and Raimee. How are you?
Hey.
How are you doing?
I'm great. How was your weekend, Darci?
It was good. I have like that little hoarse voice, you know, when you like go a little bit too hard. I was with all my friends in Bend, Oregon. If you guys have not been to Bend, it is my magical place. I think it's my number one. I won't say the world, but I will say the US, the best place in the US. Have you been?
I've never been to Bend. No, I've only been to Portland, Oregon one time, and I loved it. So I would love to go back.
Yeah. And it's so much different than Portland. I mean, it's just like the outdoors and like all that kind of stuff, but it's just, it's so magical. There's like the river running through it. You just feel so like zen and in the moment. Even like the freezing cold, I was like, I love it. I love nature. I love everyone. I'm so grateful.
Was it snowy?
Oh yeah, I was freezing. It was like 13 degrees outside. But it's like
cozy mountain vibes. I love that.
Yeah, but it's like so dry that you don't feel it like you do like that wet cold. You know what I mean?
Yeah, totally. And you have an Airbnb there?
Yeah. So about a year and a half ago-ish, Ryan, my boyfriend, and I bought a house up there, and we flipped it and made it into an Airbnb. And
so cool.
It's like my pride and joy. It's called the Bend Brew House. If you want to look it up on Airbnb, it's all
okay. Well, when I go, I'm gonna stay there.
Yeah, it's like all brewery themed. So we have like a whole theme behind it. It's all industrial, and I'm obsessed with it.
Oh my gosh, wait, I love that. Also, I think it would be really interesting, maybe on a future episode, to talk about your process of getting an Airbnb property, because that's something I want to do at some point in my life.
Yeah.
And that sounds so fun to like curate it, make that theme about it.
Yeah.
And I know everyone wants to do that.
We'll do another solo episode and I'll talk about that, because I have gotten a ton of messages about that. I actually have had like 2 or 3 calls with people that are like wanting Airbnb advice on like how to find the right place to buy, what permits go into it, like all that sort of stuff. So I love talking about it. So I will for sure give all the details. Yeah.
Let's do that. Let's do it.
Okay. I had a question for you, because I was thinking about, I was flying home last night, and I was thinking about, I was listening to another podcast, and they were talking about like all the things, like stupid crap they used to do as kids. And I like remember, you know, when you have like core memories, and I had this like core memory of me and my friend Becky. And we were so bored one day, and we're like, what do we want to do? And this was like back when you used to like toilet paper or, you know, water balloon fights, just like be destructive. And so we were like, what can we do? But we don't have any of those sorts of things. So what we did was we went outside and we built like for hours these like massive dirt clods. And then we just threw all the dirt clods at the neighbor's house. Like, are we dumb? Like, of course.
Oh no, I did stuff like that.
Of course they're going to know it's us. Like, we literally were sitting there throwing it. And then we were sitting like, I think we were playing Nintendo, and we're just sitting there, and her mom comes home, and she was like screaming. She's like, what were you guys thinking? Blah, blah, blah. She's like, that's our neighbor. And we were like, and then we were sitting there, and I'm like, I didn't even laugh. I was like, wait, that wasn't even funny. Like, it wasn't fun. It wasn't funny. Like, why did we do that? But like, that was our form of like,
it was before. Yeah, we didn't have YouTube. We didn't have our phones.
Nothing.
I know. I did crazy shit like that. In my neighborhood, there was like 2 sides of the neighborhood, 2 different sets of kids, and we would kind of like have wars with each other. And I remember we would like go back and forth pranking each other. And similarly to what you did, we took a bunch of bird seed and put it in this kid's lawn. And so then they just had pigeons and birds always in their lawn. And of course, their parents were so mad at us, and we're like, why did we do that? Yeah. But it was kind of funny at the time.
I remember when one time I got toilet papered, and like they threw tortillas on my roof, like the guys did, and then it like the tortillas like stick because of the sun, you know. And my dad is like screaming at me, right? And I'm literally sitting there just smiling, and he's like, "Why are you smiling?" I'm like, "Dad, I got toilet papered. That means I'm cool. Like that means that like
like, people care enough to do this. Yeah, I know." Ugh.
I was like, those were the days. I loved it. We also used to play Cops and Robbers. Did you guys play that?
Oh, yeah.
Okay.
I was like, the can, Cops and Robbers. I loved all that stuff.
Oh, my God. And we would, like, do it on bikes and stuff and, like, jump into people's yards and, like, I don't know.
So fun. It's like the Stranger Things era for us, like, back before technology ruined everything.
I know. I was like really reminiscing yesterday of like all, because like there's something about like flying where I'm like, I go through my camera roll, I like clean everything out. Do you
Same.
do that too? And I clean everything out and I just like think about like all the things that I used to do. And then I was like, I'm going to talk to Raimee tomorrow. And I'm so curious if like I was a weirdo or if she did the same thing. So I love that. Like I wasn't the only one.
I know. It's actually so interesting how so many people, I mean, we grew up literally on opposite sides of the country and we have a similar experience. And so many people, you know, like we all were kids doing the same weird, stupid things.
Yeah. Okay, I have one more. Because we got in so much trouble for this, but there was a house being built like on my friend's street. And again, for some reason, so destructive, we decided to play hide and seek inside like the house that's being built. And then we were just throwing rocks and breaking all the windows. And like, we just absolutely destroyed it.
Oh, abandoned houses or houses that were being built.
God.
We used to go hang out in there. Like it was the best thing if there was a new house going up. We're like, oh, this is our hangout spot now. Like
we had a haunted house that, well, we called it a haunted house, right? And it was like abandoned and stuff. And so me and my friends would go over there and then like we would like freak each other out and just like stupid stuff. But we were there and someone had like hung like dolls like by their necks and stuff. And so it was just like super creepy. So it was like a place that we all thought we were so cool. We're like, we can handle it. We can handle it. Well, we were there one time and then like the neighbor across the street, it was like this big ass field and he comes over on a tractor and he's like screaming in this like loud old man voice. And I have never
horror movie.
Like literal chills through my body. I'm like sprinting out of there. And then we found like cassette tapes in this haunted house. And it was like cassette tapes of the lady that used to live there. She would like record herself doing like this.
Darci, this is a horror movie. This is the beginning of a horror movie.
No, it gets worse. It gets worse. She like would record herself and it was like, she was like a gynecologist or some sort of like procedure like thing. And it was like, she was recording everything she was doing. So like my friend Deidre and I would like take them back home and try and decipher like what like she.
That's like a serial killer mentality. What? Oh my gosh.
I don't know. But like I just have these like vivid memories of like this specific house. And I'm sure anyone of my friends that are listening knows exactly what I'm talking about. But oh my God, it was so much fun. Anyways, enough about my childhood.
The good old days.
I need to segue to I have a question for you. How do you feel about talking shit?
I like talking shit if it doesn't go too
if it's
far,
not mean,
I guess. Like I think that gossip is okay. It's like human nature to gossip, right?
Yeah.
It's kind of like therapeutic. And I think as long as it's not like mean and spiteful and hurtful or like doesn't have a purpose behind it, then it's fine.
Okay. The reason I asked is because Ryan texted me yesterday and was like, out of nowhere, he was like, hey, I just decided like I don't want to talk shit anymore. And I literally responded, I'm like, okay, we've been together for 7 years. You're not going to,
this isn't going to work.
No. Like you can't just like lay this on me when like I love talking shit with him because he's like a steel trap.
Yeah.
And I'm like, I know I can tell you anything about anyone and you just like won't tell anyone else. So I'm like,
right. And that's the thing. It's like, you're not trying to like backstab people. You're not trying to like out to get anyone. It's just like, it's kind of like a release.
Yeah.
You know?
And if I see a bad outfit, I'm going to have to say something about it to you.
Right.
Not that I have good style.
Harmless. It's harmless. I know. Actually, that's one of like the things I love. If you have the same, like it's important to like the same things as people, right?
Yeah.
But it's also important to like hate the same things and to hate on the same things.
Right.
So like if we can both be like, ew, that outfit sucks, like we're going to be friends. And it's fine.
Yeah.
It's fine.
It's fine. And honestly, like it's not, no ill will, whatever, but like talking shit is somewhat fun. Like if you can't admit that, then whatever, here we are.
Then you're not holier than thou. Like you're not better. Don't pretend, oh, I'm just going to be a good person. Like, come on. It's fine.
Where are we going with this?
Right?
Yeah.
I don't know.
Yeah. No, but then
I don't know. We're just talking shit about talking shit.
Right.
So.
Right. But he did redeem himself and he was like, okay, I take it back. But it is kind of fun. But I also just don't want to complain about people. Like I'm not going to like I'm like, that's
the difference.
Good. We can do that.
Yeah.
It's like, like if we talk about, people complaining about their boss or people complaining about their job or complaining about people at work, like the complain part is like, you can't help what someone else does. You can talk shit about their t-shirt or their pants for sure, but like you can't complain about them as a person. And that's where I think we've created a line. And so for anyone listening, talk shit, but don't complain.
Within boundaries. Yeah. Complaining and like victim mentality. That's where you get into the like, okay, let's not make it about that.
Yeah.
Like, it should be very passive.
I was with my friend Bria yesterday and she's like pretty stylish and we are going through like back in the day we used to like, some pictures we had and stuff and on my friend's phone and she goes, Oh my God. This was like literally maybe 6 years ago. And she looks at me and she goes, Darci. And I was like, what? She's like, I cannot believe I let you leave the house like that. Like, how did I let you wear that out? I was like, okay, excuse me. But also,
Yeah.
I would have appreciated you telling me because it was pretty
Yeah, tell
hideous.
me.
But I'm like,
Yeah, and you're like, I can see it now, but why didn't you tell me at the time?
right.
I love when my friends are blunt to me and they're like, yeah, that's not doing anything for you. I'm like,
Yeah.
okay, I'd rather you tell me that before I leave the house than like now I just went, took photos in it and had a whole night in this outfit. That sucks.
Yeah.
Okay.
Well, okay. Speaking of good outfits, our guest, my gosh, okay, we're gonna get into that, but first I definitely want to do our career column. So let's get into the career column.
Okay, all right. Yeah, we have some good questions today. I'll read them to you. There's 3 really good questions here that I would love to know the answer to. So somebody asked how to network without feeling like you're using people.
Yeah, this is the whole aspect of, I think the word networking gets a really bad rap, and it comes across like you're trying to get something from someone else, when in actuality it's like supposed to be a mutual benefit. So if you're the one coming to the table with a question of, hey, because you're thinking, I want to network with this person to maybe they can help me get a job, or they can help me, get something. Instead, approach the situation of what value add can I bring to them? And it may not be now, it could be in the future. There's a book, it's blanking on me right now, but it basically it talks about networking, and it talks about how like it doesn't have to be tit for tat. So you don't have to say like, just because I'm asking you for something, what can I give you in this moment? It's the expectation of 10 years down the line, even they could be someone that needs you and can call you. And that's where that relationship build is. So I challenge this person to, the next time they want to network or go out and like, ask someone for something, or offer to do a coffee and like ask them some questions, approach it in the way of like, I don't need to necessarily give them something in this moment, but I'm willing to always like offer my time. And the biggest piece here is that it always comes full circle. So it might not be that particular person that you give your time back to. It might be someone else, but that's the whole point of networking. Like when I know that I've, talked to someone, they've given me such great advice, and I've been able to like network with someone. And then I get someone like random, right? That's saying, hey, like I actually just happened to me recently. Hey, like I really want to learn about Airbnb. Do you have like 15 minutes? Can I talk to you? Like I'm willing to pay you. And I told her, I was like, so grateful that you're willing to pay me, and I appreciate that. But I'm more than happy to spend my time, because to me, this is all just like a full circle moment, because someday I might need someone. So hopefully that shift in mindset will really help this person when like approaching networking from that standpoint.
I love that so much. It makes it feel way less icky if you can just also like know your value and know that you will be giving back that value in some way in the future. Right. I think it also makes it easier.
Yeah.
Okay. Next question. I'm younger than a lot of people at my work, and I feel like my voice is not important. How do I get past this?
That is so tough. I remember when I first started in corporate, I was super young, and I was moved into like an office manager job like really quickly. So I had every single person on my team that I managed was older than me. And so it was so,
that's weird.
Yeah, it was so hard, because I'm like, you've been at the company longer than me and I'm telling you what to do. Like that was a weird feeling for me. But I just kind of took the approach of, it all depends on the dynamic that you have with the person, right? So, or who you're kind of feeling that your voice isn't being heard towards. If it's a boss figure, then approach it from a standpoint of like, what value do you bring to the company, and what are you asking for, and bring in that evidence to prove that you're a subject matter expert regardless of your age. Because if you can add value, come up with creative ideas, ask good questions, those things are the things that bring out the confidence in you, and those things are going to be what are respected, not your age. And actually, I was talking to a client about this morning, because he's 23 and he's a subject matter expert. He's been doing it for a while. Everyone's older than him. And I just told him, like, if you need to bring evidence, like, here's the pros and cons of why we should do what we should be doing. If you need that to like help you with your confidence, that's perfectly fine. And what happens is, as people get older, they lose that. So someone that's 30 years older than you, they're a boss figure. And you're always like, oh, my boss is so annoying, or like, I don't like him. This is where we get those toxic figure bosses, because they're saying things to you without bringing any sort of evidence or any sort of reasons. It's just like, I've been here this long. Here's the way we're going to do it. right? And that's, they
Yes.
lose that. And so if we can just all kind of keep that with us of like, let me explain how we could do something either A or B, or let me give the pros and
Mm-hmm.
cons, or let me explain why I want it done this way, right? If we can always back things up like that, it doesn't matter your age, that's what we should be doing. So I
Mm-hmm.
think even from like a young perspective, just know like why you're there. And obviously you have that job for a reason, and use that to your advantage and continue to know your shit and really just like use that as you have these conversations.
That I've never heard it put that way before. Wow. I love when you teach me something. Like I love when I learn something new also.
I
That's such a great way. And I'm gonna make sure that I do that because like I still, I mean, I'm not that young, but like I do want to make sure that when I say something or have something to offer that it is backed up and like people can trust
right.
what's coming from me. Like no matter, yeah, that
Yeah.
love it, love it.
I actually
Great tip.
I want to stay on this for a second because I think a lot of people listening might be in this boat. Someone else asked me too. He was like, I'm young and I feel like when I go into interviews, I'm a very jovial person and I'm bubbly and I smile. He's like, should I not be like that? Should I be a little bit more buttoned up and stern and
Mm,
kind of present
mm-hmm.
older? And I was like, man, this is such a good question because no, 100% no. You should still, personality
Be
should
yourself.
not change because if you change your personality, you'll get into that job and then you'll be like, wow, this is
Mm-hmm.
not where I was supposed to be because they don't appreciate my actual personality. They hired me based
Yeah.
on these different merits. So, what I told him was be yourself, be jovial, of course. But the difference is I can tell when someone's green or young, if you want to put it that way, because they have this like bright-eyed, bushy-tailed, like, I'll do whatever, or they don't give me facts. They just say, I'm a hard worker,
Mm-hmm.
I'll do whatever. I'm gonna try really hard and I'll go home late. And they say things like that. And instead, I would still love that energy, but I would like for you to give me hard facts as to what you can contribute, what tools you've worked
Mm-hmm.
with. That's where that professionalism comes in, not by changing your demeanor. So I just wanted
Right.
to say that.
Ooh, I love that. I so relate to that too. I feel like I can be bubbly and, I can seem like that, but
Yeah, and it comes
uh,
off like young or whatnot, which is
right, comes off
ridiculous.
like not
Yeah,
professional or oh, she doesn't know a lot, but again, having the
the
facts to
facts.
back it
Hmm.
up.
Yeah.
Mhm.
Yep.
Love it. Spitting facts today, Darcy. Okay, this one kind of similarly. This is the last question.
Okay.
Someone said, I get really anxious before interviews. Any tips on how to look more confident?
Okay. Yeah, it's going to go back to those examples, but I also have like, in terms of confidence, there's little tiny tricks that can help you. And the first one is using your hands. So if you've heard a lot about body language when you're in an interview or when you're there, yeah, you want to be like, and you can see me doing it right now. I just
I
naturally,
know. I do. I talk with my hands like crazy.
yeah,
People get mad at me
yeah.
on the internet.
Yeah, I know. They're like, can you put your hands down? I'm like, no, because you're watching and engaging. Thank you.
Yeah.
But yeah, I mean, if you do, so Toastmasters is like a program that helps you with public speaking. One of their biggest tips is like open palms. So you're supposed to like open your
Hmm.
palms and talk to the audience and like get them engaged in the conversation. So when you're in an interview and you're explaining something, it's easier to follow when you're kind of explaining it with your hands. And it does bring a lot of energy out of you when you have the hands and the body language behind it. So that's number one. Number two is you should be practicing transition sentences. So what I mean by that is words like I took the initiative to, or I was able to do that with my team because, and these things that are the explanations of what you're doing and how you're doing it successfully, those transition phrases are really going to help you. So when you're practicing and prepping, I know you can prep over and over and over and you're still going to get those nerves, but those in between lulls are what make it a little bit awkward and anxious. And so if you don't have those, that can also help you. Because I'm assuming everyone here has obviously heard, prep and do your research before. Those things are going to help, of course, but I want to give you some like smaller tidbits of things that can just help in general when it comes
Hmm.
to that anxious feeling. And I also will say, if you're someone that really, really is nervous, I've had a ton of hiring managers tell me, like, I'd rather them just lay their cards out on the table and just tell me that they're a little bit nervous. Like, oh, I haven't interviewed in a while, so just want to kind of throw it out there. I have a little bit of nerves right now. They're like, I appreciate that so much more because it's just the human in
Yeah.
them rather than me sitting
Hmm.
there feeling uncomfortable because I'm getting their anxiety. So if that's you,
True. That energy
yeah,
transfer.
you
Yeah.
might want to just kind of lay it out there and just even if you have been interviewing, just lie and say like, oh, it's been a while since my last interview, like feeling a little bit nervous, but I'm so excited for this, and kind of transfer that energy into more excitement energy than anxious energy.
Yeah. Oh my, it reminds me of one time I was on like a first date and I was so nervous for some reason. And dates are kind of similar to interviews in a way. I mean, they shouldn't be, but like they kind of are. And I remember being so nervous and I was like, you know what, fuck it. I'm just going to say I'm nervous. Yeah. And I was like, I'm sorry. I'm just so nervous right now. And he was like, I'm really glad you said that because so am I. And now I feel like relieved. And then it went so much better after that. Like it was so smooth. Cute. After that. So
I love that. Are you guys dating now or no?
No. But that was fine. That was in my, having fun era.
Oh, get into that later.
Get into that later. Good. Yeah.
Okay. Well, speaking of having fun, our guest this week, she brought in wine because, fascinating. She out of nowhere was like, you know what? I'm going to start my own business and it's going to be wine in a can and I'm going to absolutely crush this. And I'm going to put all of my hard-earned saved money into this business. And listening to her story was just like, it was so powerful because I loved to hear just something different. I feel like it's so hard to create a product like that has to sit on a shelf amongst all these other alcoholic beverages. And she's killing it. And she was so interesting to listen to. So we have, her name's Caroline June, and I started following her. Like I was following her before, we even connected. Her Instagram is Love and Loathing LA. And I find it so fascinating because she goes around LA and tells you like what's hot and what's not, and like restaurants. And yeah, she was just
she is so cool. She's so cool. I also thought it was just, it was really inspiring to me that we asked her in the interview, like, oh, so did you have any experience doing anything like this before? And she was like, no, I just thought it'd be cool. Yeah. And so I went for it. Yeah. And I was like, that is amazing. And it just kind of inspired me. Any crazy idea I have, should just
go for it. Yeah. YOLO.
Great chat with her. YOLO. Thanks, Drake.
Well, let's get into the interview. Caroline.
Yes.
Caroline is an LA transplant, but has lived most of her life as a California native. She was raised just outside of Napa Valley and attended college at Chapman University in Orange County, where she graduated with a degree in art. I was going to say it in the arts, but it's art. In 2011. No more than a few weeks after her college graduation, Caroline moved to LA to begin her creative endeavor in writing and painting. Today, Caroline's goal is to fashionably experience as much of Los Angeles as possible and inspire others to do the same. She is known as Love and Loathing LA on socials. She loves the Dodgers and wine, and her love for wine led her to creating Best Coast Beverages, which we have here today that we're going to try, a canned wine. Welcome to the podcast, Caroline. Let's get down and dirty.
Thank you so much. I'm excited to be here.
Yeah, thank you. I'm so excited. Okay, first of all, we have to tell people how we met. So I've been following you for a while because I have always said the thing Love and Loathing LA because I think that's like the perfect.
I'm so glad you agree.
Yeah. The perfect saying for Los Angeles. And so when I came across your page, I was like, wow, okay, follow, duh. I didn't even look at it. I was like, she has the words that are like exactly what I needed. And then you posted about like a nutritionist. I think she's also a friend of yours.
Yeah.
And I was like, I just trust whatever she's going to say. So sure. And then I booked her as my nutritionist. And then I worked with her and now I'm like, come on my podcast.
Yeah, that's perfect. I'm so glad. That's my favorite kind of story. Like,
I love it.
We were friends before we even met. It's so great.
Yeah. Okay. So you like, okay, we've talked to some influencers, but I feel like you're an OG.
Oh, thank you.
You started when like it wasn't as normalized as it is now.
Yeah.
So how did you go from graduating college to like, what does it mean to like painting? Like, yeah, just walk us through after graduation. Like you moved to LA, what did you start doing?
Yeah. So I was working in music at Live Nation. I was working there through college. Came here thinking, that might be the career path I would run down. It was soon found out that no, that was not what I should be doing with my life. So
what were you doing? Like,
I was the assistant buyer for the House Blues on Sunset, RIP. And it was great, but it was kind of like one of those classic situations where I looked around and I didn't want any of my boss's jobs. Like the trajectory wasn't like clear. It wasn't ideal. I still love Live Nation. Shout out Live Nation. You're great. We love you. But it would just ended up not being the career path that I wanted to go down in the end. So I thought I'd go back to, my creative roots, thought I would so I did what I call like plant and pivot. I quit. I'm like, I'm 22 or 23 years old. I'm like, if there's a time in my life that I can stop and rethink what I'm doing, what I want to do with my life, it's right now. While I'm young and I have a little bit of savings, I don't require much to live. I mean, generally speaking. And so I just quit and was
with no plan.
No plan.
Nice.
Just was like, I'm just gonna figure it out, and I did, and it took a while, don't get me wrong. Like, but I was, I went back I tried to take some classes. I went back and thought, maybe I'll get into graphic design. Maybe I will start writing. And then I had this brilliant idea to write a book, as you do at 23.
What?
Like I knew everything, right? I'm like, oh, I got this. Like, and I wanted to
this.
write about Los Angeles because I'm like, I know Los Angeles. So cute. Like, how sweet of
You're
me.
not even from here.
Yeah, no. I'm like, so precious. I think I know everything, as you do at that age. And
we like someone with big goals.
Right.
Yeah.
I had big ideas. Yeah. And I called my mom. I'll never forget. I was like on a plane and I'd written like the first chapter of this book. And I'm like, Mom, I got it. I figured it out. I'm going to write a book. And she's like, great, honey. That's great. I love this for you. But maybe start with a blog. And I was like, a blog? I'm like, what the hell's a blog? I love that my mom was the one that suggested this in the first place. But so that's what I did. I was like, okay, I'm going to start a blog. Knew that social media was kind of, blogs and social media kind of went hand in hand. If I wanted to put this book out there, I knew that I needed a platform in which to put it out there. So
this was 2011?
This was 2013.
Okay.
Yeah.
Okay.
Yeah. So the blog's gonna be 10 years years old this year. Yeah. It's insane. So started that, and it's just evolved into some
Would you start with writing?
So I started writing
about places.
Yeah, it was, and it's kind of funny. Is it's a lot of it has always been centered around things to do in LA, obviously, restaurant driven, and then kind of the LA lifestyle, if you will. And it was sweet back in the days when you could write really long format blogs. I was doing a lot of writing, which was great. But it's just evolved into different things as time has gone on. It's gotten to be like shorter form content, more, heavily focused on social media. I've been in the midst of social media coming up and becoming a place for the influencer market and watching influencer marketing rise. And it's been amazing to see and to kind of go with that evolution and make it a career, which has been insane. I did not see this coming for myself. Let's just say, I really thought.
Did you get a regular, like a normie job in the middle of trying to build the blog up?
Yes. Okay. So it's a beautiful thing about Los Angeles. You could take lots of weird jobs. So I was a PA on photo shoots, and it was miserable. But it was funding my dream. It was like, anybody who yelled at in my face, or made me do weird stuff that I didn't want to do. At the end of the day, this is funding my
Your
dream.
why was bigger than
exactly. Yeah. So it didn't matter. I got paid. I could live, and fortunately, I've been working since I was 15. Yeah. So I've been able to save for a really long time, and that helped me kind of get through some of those weird moments when I wasn't getting jobs and things like that. But it's great being in a place like Los Angeles where it's okay to get odd jobs here and there.
When did you first start making money from the blog?
That's a good question. I would say probably not until 3 years into it. Wow. 3 or 4 years into it.
And you were posting how often?
Every day.
Every single day for 3 years?
Yes, I made it my job. I was like, I'm going to take this seriously.
I love you.
Take this seriously. This is my job. Even if I'm not getting paid for it, this is my job. And it fueled my purpose. It was a great creative outlet for me. It was fun. It's so funny because I think back on I would give myself deadlines, and I'd be typing away on this burger blog post. I'm like, I'm going to post this today. It's like, nobody cares. But, it was like I was.
Your mom was reading every single post.
Right. She was. And, and it was like, I'm going to make this happen for myself. Gosh. And I didn't really know what it looked like back then. I really thought that this book was going to be the thing.
Wait, just pause. Have you written a book?
I did not write a book. And, it's been something that's lingered over my head for a while, but I had to kind of let go of that idea because at 10 years in, it just wasn't ultimately how I wanted to, I don't know.
things change.
Yeah,
Like,
things change. And it was an endeavor that I wasn't excited about anymore.
Yeah.
And it was like I had to just kind of let that idea go and be like, I've built something else
Oh, I feel that.
found something else that's giving me more life than this daunting idea of writing a book.
Yeah.
Because I kind of basically did. That was the whole premise of starting the blog in the first place, was to work out all these chapters and work
If
out.
you put all that into, I'm sure it's a book. Like the amount of stuff.
Oh
you've
my God,
written.
yeah. I guarantee. But it just ultimately, I knew it was gonna be like a labor of love, but the labor just it was just too daunting at the end of the day. So I put my effort into things that were bringing me more joy.
That's great.
Yeah.
What I don't really know that much about blogging.
Yeah.
So because I started when it was like you just go straight onto social media. So with the blog, when you first started making money, you said it was 3 years.
Yeah.
What kind of money? How do you make money with a blog? Like, is it getting ads on the blog because you have so much traffic? Like, what does that look like?
There's a couple different ways. I mean, there are blogs that get that make money specifically online via ads. So there's like third party people that can supply ads to your website, and that drives revenue. For me, I had that for a little bit, but it wasn't enough for me to like really put a lot of effort into it. I've always had good traffic, but it's like the blog, especially as social media landscape started rising, I let that kind of go by the wayside and started focusing more on social media, because that is where the money was. So that's where I've made most of my money is via social media partnerships and stuff like that. So
We're all about salary transparency over here.
Yeah.
So can you give us like maybe what was like the worst deal you've ever done and like you got paid shit? And you can say names if you can, if not, I totally understand that.
Yeah.
And then brand names, that is. And then what's the best one you've ever done?
Yeah. This is, we were talking about this earlier, but like the social media, it's the wild, wild west. There is no continuity with this. I mean, even for myself,
there's no standards.
No, it's kind of what you feel like is, like what's worth your time, what's worth, your knowledge. So I don't know. The worst job was probably when I first got started. I mean, like I would do, okay, the worst jobs are actually for trade. Like, it's like I'm kind of over that phase of, I mean, if you give me this, I will give you
products for posting.
Yeah, exactly. We'll give you exposure. It's like there's this meme. It's like it's like the Oregon Trail. You've died from exposure. It's like, yeah, I've died from exposure. I'm good on exposure. I need money now. I got to pay rent and stuff like that. But I mean, also I've been doing this 10 years. It's different now. But I don't know. Now it's just like I have like a base minimum. If for me, especially for where I'm at in my career, like early stages, absolutely. I would recommend taking jobs.
Take like $100 here and there.
Like get your feet wet on how it works working with these types of brands, and on different types of projects, and what is worth your time and what isn't. For me, it's not worth my time anymore and my mental health. Not take a certain amount of money anymore. There are jobs that, I mean, right now, like I'm in a fortunate position now that I can turn down opportunities if it doesn't feel like if it's a good fit, or if they're truly not meeting my, I don't know, not standards, but my worth.
Do you have those like rates that you specifically give out, or like
absolutely, and they increase every year just because I say so. I feel like my worth increases every year.
Of course. No,
I mean, especially because with a new business venture as well, I'm limited on my time, so it might as well be something that's really either very fitting, something that's worth sharing with my audience, or it has to pay my bills. That's the reality of it.
It's your full-time job, right?
And I would love to say that I'm virtuistic with this, but I got to make a living so I can keep doing this stuff, which is, don't get me wrong, I live for it. I'm so happy and lucky that I get to do what I do, but we all
can you share with us like a range of like what that money looks like from a brand?
Sure. Yeah. I mean, I have been paid as low as $100 for a job, which this was a long time ago, and as much as $28,000 for a job.
Nice.
Yeah. So
is that like a package deal?
Yes. Yeah. And that was the hardest job I've ever done in my entire life. And I'm like, I think that was worth every damn dime, because that was so difficult.
Was it like multiple postings and
Yes.
shout out?
Yeah.
Yeah.
And it was brutal. It was the hardest job I've ever had. So that price tag, really
Yeah,
went
of
with it.
course.
But it was, I mean, that's great. Is that the standard? No, that was like a one-time situation.
Right.
But it just case in point that there's no
Yeah, there's no
baseline.
Yeah,
There's
I was
no
telling someone else before that like when I first started, I was like, okay, so like $300 for a TikTok post.
Yeah.
And then they came back and they were like, okay, and I was like, that was too easy.
Yeah.
I need to do more. And then so the next time I was like $600, and then the brand was like, okay, and I was like, fuck. And then I was like, all right. The next time I went $1,600, and then they paid it. I was like, okay, this is getting out of
This is getting
control.
ridiculous, yeah.
And then like I have a newsletter that goes out once a month, and someone asked me for that. I was like, I don't fucking know. You
Yeah.
know, I was like, $1,000 to put your name in my newsletter. They're like, okay. I'm like, could have gone higher.
Totally. That has always been my plan of attack on this. I'm like, start really high and see what happens.
Yeah.
Like if they walk
Yeah.
away, I'm like, well, that's just silly. Like
Right.
this, especially in influencer marketing, it is always a negotiation. Like the people that don't negotiate, I'm like, you're
That's
new here.
weird.
That's
You're new
weird.
here.
You're new
Yeah.
here. This is a negotiation. I start really, really high or
Yeah.
whatever, My rates these days are between like 2,000 and 5,000.
Okay.
Yeah.
Are you more so on TikTok or doing Reels?
Okay. I'm mostly on Reels,
Okay.
but I do TikTok as well. And I love TikTok, but I'm still, for as long as I've been doing this, I'm still learning to get thicker skin.
Oh, TikTok's
TikTok
fucking
Fucking
evil.
brutal.
I was crying. I
Horrible.
was telling everyone on the podcast. I was crying the other day because it was so miserable.
Oh,
like
it's horrible.
people are so mean.
It
Yeah.
is so, you can reach so many people. The opportunity is incredible, but the amount of bullshit and evil and just horrible
Yeah.
behavior is
It's
like
shocking.
because I mean like on my Instagram I've cultivated like a really wonderful community and really wonderful people, supportive community, intertwined. Like my DMs are incredible. I've made so many friends in this space, so it's always supportive. On TikTok, it's just like,
It's scroll and just write anything mean that you can.
it's horrifying.
Yeah.
And I'm just like, and it doesn't matter. Like, and I try as hard as I try, I read the damn comments and I'm like, oh, okay, that's it. I'm
Nope.
not doing this anymore.
Can't
I
read
hate
it.
it. But then I'm out on the street and it's like, oh my God, I follow you on TikTok. And I'm like, shit.
Yeah.
Shit. keep going. Damn it.
Yeah.
It's a catch-22. But
So most of your deals are around Instagram.
yes, most of my deals are around Instagram. I've done some TikTok deals, which
That's tough.
I'm hearing that most influencer marketing, most budgets are going towards TikTok right now.
Yeah, but you know what's interesting? So I have a manager. You don't have a manager, right?
No, I don't.
Yeah. And she's been on the podcast. She's a friend of mine. That's the only reason I would have one. But I love negotiating. So I'm like, I can, I would love to do that myself. But yeah, I mean, I have, I think 250,000 followers on TikTok. And I charge way less on TikTok than I do on Instagram.
Interesting.
Yeah. And Instagram, I literally try not to look at my things.
Yeah, I know.
Until my manager's like, send me all your stats. I'm like,
No, you do it.
yeah, you look. But yeah, and I charge way more on Instagram, and I think I'm at like 60,000 or something. And so you would think I'd have but the way that the like you were saying, the community of Instagram is so much different, and like people will buy from you on
Yes.
Instagram and click things,
Yes.
and you don't know who your stuff's going out to on TikTok.
No,
like these people have no business writing a comment on my thing. I don't want to send a thank you email. Like, go fuck yourself. Sorry.
Then fucking don't. Like, then get out of here. Like,
Yeah.
Like, it's just like classic. Like, if you don't have anything nice to say, don't fucking say it at
Yeah.
all. And like the amount of times I want to clap back, and I'm like, don't.
Yes.
Shut
Oh
up
my
and calm
gosh,
down. Like,
I
these
know.
people have nothing better to do with their lives. But it's just like,
I'm like, don't respond. Don't respond.
Don't do
Yeah.
it.
I got
Ugh.
one time, it was when I first started TikTok. And so it was my own fault. Like I made a video that was like pouring coffee all over my head because I knew it was going to get views.
Yeah.
So
Why
I
have
knew
I not seen that?
what?
I have not seen
You
that
haven't
video.
seen that video?
No, but I'm going to be putting it in this
was like-
episode.
Yeah, it was what made me go. That was the only reason I got followers. Like
No
that's what
way.
made me go viral. Yeah. So I did a whole spiel. Yeah. I did
Pour
a
wine all over my head.
You should.
All right.
You really should. I did a whole spiel about like how, it was good advice about like getting prepared for an interview. And then at the very end, I just took, because I was making a cup of coffee, but it was a giant, like a big cup of like, whatever. They thought I was meal prepping coffee.
Yeah.
And then I just took it and dumped it all over my head with like a straight face. And so of course the comments were just like outrageous, and me not knowing the like what you're supposed to do, which is just ignore it. I was trying to respond to everyone and be like, you missed the point, like you're not funny. Like I was just being, and then people were like, this is so embarrassing that you're responding to all the comments, and I was like,
Oh no.
I was like, you're right, it's embarrassing.
No,
but then I'm like, I wanted to delete the video, and it was like going up in views, and I was like, just take it, Darci. Just take the views.
Isn't that funny? There's this weird anxiety. You're like,
Yeah.
something that goes like quote viral.
Oh my God.
You're like, yay, but shit.
Shit is literally what happens.
No, yay, but damn it.
The
no.
usual thing is the things that go viral are the ones that get the shitty comments. That's why.
that's why.
So you're like,
Exactly.
oh no,
I
it's
know.
coming.
Here we
because
go.
Here we go.
Here we fucking go.
I know.
It's so
it's
stressful.
Every day, my boyfriend's like, what goes viral, just post. I'm like, you don't understand. I am a career coach. Therefore, I can't just post stupid shit. It doesn't work like that. Like, then I look dumb. And he's like, who cares? You're going to get like a bunch of followers and then make more money so they can all fuck. I'm like, true.
know,
but like, there's something in me that's like, I
know.
I can't
stir
do
the pot
it.
just to stir
Trust
the
me.
pot. Like, you can't do it.
I know.
Yeah.
I have
want
one video
to.
that I posted to Instagram that kind of went viral, and there were mean comments. There were shitty comments,
Yeah.
and I was like, I am definitely not posting this to
Yeah.
TikTok then, because
Oh,
I'm like,
no.
no way.
Yeah.
I know what's coming, and I'm like, for my mental health, I'm like,
Yep.
I can't, I won't. Nobody's telling me I have to, so I'm just not.
My block list on TikTok
Oh,
is
God.
outrageous. I mean, I think I'm at like at least 5,000 people I've blocked. And that's not even an exaggeration.
great.
As
That's
soon as I
good.
see someone be mean to me, I'm like, block, delete, block,
You're
delete.
inspiring me, because I need to just be like, yeah, let it go even more. Block them.
Yeah. And then like I'll get there late. And then so there's a bunch of comments that are like, these comments are so mean to her, blah, blah, blah. And then if like someone new's coming through, they're like scrolling, like, I don't see any mean comments because I just deleted them
Yeah,
all.
they're gone.
Yeah. Then it feels really good because I'm like, haha.
Yeah,
Can't catch me.
All right, you're inspiring me, because that's like,
You should do it.
Oh man,
Yeah.
it's an interesting landscape, to say
Yeah.
the least, isn't it? Yeah.
Okay, so back to, I have so many questions about LA because I'm obsessed, but
Yeah.
I won't, because there's people obviously that don't live in LA, so they're gonna be like,
Right.
what? But I do want to know what's your I mean, this is gonna be a hard one, but what's your like number one restaurant right now?
Ooh, right now?
Yeah, because I feel like right now makes more sense. Than
Right now
ever.
makes more sense. I mean, I'll say,
My stomach's growling. If you guys can hear
I
that.
know.
I'm
Like, where are we
hungry
eating?
Yeah.
favorite of all time is Jelena in
Jelena. Okay.
in
Oh,
Venice.
I love
of all
Jelena.
time. It's nostalgic
On
for
Abbot
me.
Kinney.
Yeah,
So
it's the
good.
best. It's my favorite of all time.
Is that the one without a sign?
Yeah, I mean, it's
It's one of those.
Yeah, it's one of those.
Yeah.
They started it, you know?
Yeah.
They started it for sure. But right now I'm going to say Salty Girl.
Okay.
It's
They're not paying you to say this?
They are not.
I'm just kidding.
I wish. And I wish that they, that they
Right.
would love me and give me free lobster, but it's fine. I'm a willing
I'm gonna send this pod to them.
I love them so much.
Yeah.
No, they're amazing. It's they're out of Boston. Their
Okay.
main one is from Boston, but they're West Hollywood on Sunset and like the God, I forget what it's Sunset, not Junction. Damn it, what is the one in West Hollywood? How dare I call myself an LA girl?
This is great.
It's amazing, and
Yeah.
it's really
Salty
cute.
Girl.
Salty Girl.
Okay.
And they have just amazing food. They have lobster frites though, which I'm like, I ate a lot of things.
Yeah.
That one was a new one. I love being surprised, and I love trying
What was it?
new things. Lobster frites.
Frite? What is that?
So it's like steak frites, but
Oh,
instead of steak,
frite. I
so
see.
fries
Okay.
and lobster.
Yeah, I
saw
was like,
Alex
that's a
Cooper was
fancy
there
word
the
for
other
me.
day, actually. Mhm.
You
So
what?
then I was like, ooh, this place must be cool.
Write that down. Very
Yeah.
cool. Yeah.
And now
neon
I'm hearing it again.
signs.
So
I have a
gotta go.
question for you. Have you
Yeah.
ever tried Detroit pizzas?
Of course.
Is that what it's called?
Yes.
Yeah.
Like square pie.
Yeah. Well,
hell
the
yeah.
Detroit pizza here in LA though, like it's called Detroit Pizza. The owner's
I'm
on
sure I
the
have.
podcast, so that's why I'm
sure.
asking.
It's actually
his
pretty
place
new,
is
though.
called Detroit Pizza.
it's pretty new. It
pretty
started
new.
in September of 2022.
Yeah.
So
But you got
it's
to
not-
try
It
it.
doesn't have another name. It's called Detroit. I'm
Detroit
sorry. I'm like
Pizza
really hung
Depot.
up on this. I'm like, just
Yeah.
Detroit Pizza.
I know. That's what I was saying.
But
I was
isn't
like,
that-
yeah,
it's a
just
style of pizza. It's not like a place
Raimee?
you call it.
Raimee, are you already drinking the wine?
Oh, should I not?
Hell yeah,
Sorry.
get it, girl.
It's great. I love it.
I was gonna
We're
do a
not
whole
supposed
taste
to?
test and like talk about it.
Like, no.
Raimie's over there freaking chugging the
She's gonna
wine.
be done by the time we get there. She's like,
No,
it
no,
was great.
I just took a sip. Sorry.
I just wanted to call you out. That's funny.
I love that. Get it.
I
Yeah.
was ready.
Enjoy. There's
Well,
another
let's
one
get
here.
into it real
Give me
quick.
another
Okay.
one. Okay.
Tell us about Best Coast Beverages. How the heck did you do? Oh my gosh. This is
don't
really
know.
what I want to talk about.
really don't
How did you do it?
I blacked out.
How did you? I saw you post about it. I was like, this bitch.
I know.
How?
I'm tired. No. I'm having fun, but
so hard.
It's like it's kind of honestly how I started with Love and Loathing LA. I feel like I just kind of went into it like, this sounds fun. Very what I call blissfully ignorant. Like, oh, I knew it was going to be hard, but then it's like you get into it and you're like, oh, fuck, this is hard. You know,
Yeah.
it's fun though. I mean, like I have been in need of a challenge for a while. I mean, I've been thoroughly enjoying my career with Love and Loathing LA, but I'm always seeking new ways to learn and to improve and to build on businesses. And
Yeah.
I love starting new creative endeavors. And this one was just like, so this was a pandemic baby. So this was
It is.
like,
We're gonna put it on the YouTube. How it's such a cute. Oh my god, best
Thank
of
you.
beverages. I'm gonna drink the red one right
yeah,
now.
drink
and
the
then I'll
red
do
one. The red one is they're both really great. They're both of my children are delightful. But the red is
I love it.
the one that I find that I reach for because this is kind of the reason why I started it. So in back in corn times, there was people were obsessed with canned stuff, and I kind of made it a little side project to try everything in cans, and I was so surprised how interested people were in it and wanted to know what I liked and like what was good and what wasn't. And it was mostly canned cocktails, but obviously canned wine, some canned wine. There was not much though.
There wasn't. Yeah.
So I found that 80% of it was absolute garbage.
So terrible.
So bad.
Oh my
but
gosh.
the 20% that was good was like really good. Like Angelino Amaro has like these canned spritz that are just like, oh my God, they're so good. They're amazing. So something like a product like that, I was like, okay, this is really interesting. And I had a couple of brands that had sent me stuff. And when I posted about them, people bought them. And I was like, this is weird.
Oh,
Like
yeah.
I'm not a quote like seller. Like some influencers are sellers, you know, that's what they
Yeah.
do. I feel like I'm
Awareness.
selling you more on like a lifestyle, like
Yeah.
more on like, you know, like a way to enjoy your time in your life. And
Yeah, not
I
like
was-
product pushing.
exactly.
Yeah.
I'm not a big product pusher, but I
Yeah.
was shocked that like a couple of these brands had reached back out and were like, this is crazy. Like we've never like had this kind of attention on our brand before, like at this automatic return on our,
Wow,
you know,
that's awesome.
yeah. So I was like, oh, this is interesting. This is not only something that people really seem to be into, this is something I'm into. And I was like, had this kind of like light bulb moment of, well, shit, like maybe I could do it, you know? So I
Call up your mom. Mom, this time it's not a book. It's canned wine. She's like,
totally. She was like,
Caroline.
"Oh no, this is an interesting idea." This one she kind of fought me on, which I
Really?
kind of liked. Yes. So I had some friends in that were kind of in the industry, so I just kind of started talking about it. I started being like putting the feelers out there. I had a great conversation with a friend of mine that owns a canned cocktail company called Brevet, probably the best canned cocktails I've had. They're LA based as well, and he gave me an hour of his time and a roadmap to how this all worked out. And I
Wow, that's so
figured,
nice.
yeah, it was unbelievable. Like this
Yeah.
has like kind of been the crazy thing about this whole thing is it's been open door and like people just wanting to answer questions, be helpful. It's so incredible. Like faith in humanity restored.
Yeah.
And I had some savings, and it was either I wanted to invest in probably property, like what a closet, you know,
Yeah.
or maybe starting a new business. So I thought I'm like, well, wine is something I can do. Eventually I would love it to be canned cocktails and things like that. But I was like, wine is in my history. It's part of my identity.
Yeah. You grew up around it.
Yeah, I did.
Yeah.
And I have family there. I'm in the San Ynez Valley a lot. I call myself an honorary resident. So I have a friend that's a winemaker up there, and I asked her if she would be willing to help me, and she couldn't because she is part of a larger family.
Winemaking.
Yes,
Yeah.
exactly. That so she's contracted specifically just for them. But we were at a different friend's winery. My current winemaker, Sonia McDevsky, we were at her tasting room, and it was kind of one of these like offhanded things, like, Sonia, like, would you want to make wine together? She was like, sure, you know,
Oh,
like
man,
she was very
that's
sweet about it.
amazing.
But I was
Yeah.
like, no, I'm actually dead serious. And yeah, and then we just got to talking, and one thing after another, I was like, I had filed for my my business, I had filed for my trademarks, and I was like, wow, I'm doing it. Paid her,
Amazing.
bought grapes, and was just like, looked up, and I'm like, holy shit. Like I'm here.
From idea to the wines in the can.
Yeah.
How long?
2 years.
Wow.
Yeah, year and a half, 2 years.
Wow.
Yeah, crazy.
Did you have any investors or did you do it all yourself?
Nope, did it all myself.
Oh my
Spent every
gosh.
damn dime of my savings.
Oh, I love this.
Yeah, I'm at zero, but it's great. We're learning.
I love it. I love it. Well, not anymore because this podcast has million listeners.
Hey guys, if you want to buy some Best Coast,
Yeah. But you can't
just
get it
my
on-
savings in a can. That's what I call it. I'm like,
Savings in a
this
can.
is $5 of my savings.
How you can't get it online yet though, right? Or
Yes, you
can
can.
you? You can.
Yeah,
Okay.
you
Yes.
can get it on my website.
Okay.
I think we ship to like 49 states.
Okay.
Something good
Yeah.
like that. Yeah, it's available. It's out there.
Amazing.
Uh-huh.
And then you're in, we talked about this, but
Yeah.
8-ish stores in LA?
Eight-ish stores, maybe 10.
Amazing.
Yeah, so it's.
Do you go
it's-
by and like see how it's like?
I do.
Yeah,
I
yeah.
do. I mean,
how does that work? Do they buy all of it up front and then they just price it the way? Like, how does that?
Yeah,
I have no
I know,
idea.
right? It's weird.
Yeah.
This is all new to me too.
They buy in bulk, like yeah.
They buy by the case,
Okay.
and they can buy however many they want, and then they sell it at their own price. So I sell it to them at a wholesale
Right.
rate, and then they obviously upcharge so
Yeah.
that they can make their money on it. So wholesale is like, ooh, the margins are real bad, but we're building a brand here.
Yeah.
We're building more than just a product, and I've always known that. I think that the most important thing and that solidified that I was doing the right thing was like I was willing to kiss all $150,000 goodbye.
Is that how much it was? I was gonna ask.
Cost
But I
me
didn't
about
want to be
$100,000.
too.
Yeah.
Wow.
Yeah.
I mean,
And-
essentially, that is like you literally said, real estate or my new baby, and baby being wine.
My
And
wine
I
baby.
mean, my real estate investment was about 100, 150.
Yeah. And I needed something I was like, you know what? The real estate will come from this. Because
Yeah.
I needed something to throw myself into. I needed a new challenge. I needed something to, spark a little, like, I love Elizabeth. Do you know Elizabeth Gilbert? She's an amazing author. She wrote like Eat, Pray, Love. And
Okay, yeah.
God, what's the one
Big
about?
Magic
Yes.
or whatever.
Oh, I have
Great
that at my
book.
house.
Yeah, you
Great
gotta read
book.
it.
I haven't read it,
I
but-
go back to those
It's
chapters
so
a
good.
lot, but
Okay.
one of her philosophies is follow your curiosity, and this is me following my curiosity
Yeah.
and just making life more interesting and fun.
so
like
fun.
we're having fun.
I love
And,
this.
Yeah.
I mean, I was gonna say this like 5 minutes into the podcast, but like I was feeling so inspired. Like, yeah, I feel like so much inspiration from you. You have
Oh.
great energy. I love it.
Thank you. I'm
yeah.
really glad to hear that.
Yeah.
I just want people to enjoy life and find
Hell yeah.
whatever little version of joy that is. And if it's big or small, fucking do it.
Yeah.
Like we only get one shot at this shit. Make it interesting.
Except for me, I believe in life cycles. So
Okay.
I believe that like I do get multiple shots because I have like a certain, I could go into this for a while.
I just meant we
Wait,
get
are
one
you gonna
shot at
come back
life.
as like a dog, a cat? I think I'll come back as a cat.
A cat?
Yeah. Is that what you mean though, or you think you'll just get another?
I think I get another human.
For sure, another human.
Yeah, I think I get. Well, this is what I believe. I believe we all are put here for a purpose, and if we don't achieve that purpose, we get to come back and try again.
I agree.
Yes.
Yeah.
I like
Yeah.
that. Mhm.
Yeah. So,
Yeah.
and then like sometimes you don't know what it is,
Right.
And then you
Yeah.
just got to figure it out,
I
or you
actually-
know, and you keep
Figure
just
it
not
out for the
doing
next
it.
cycle.
Yeah.
I'm with you on that though, and this is why I feel like weirdly in the quote flow of what I'm doing because it feels so second nature to
Alignment.
me. It's very weird. Like, and I'm a very anxious, like uptight person, but with this, I'm just like it's like this weird calmness and just like this weird acceptance over everything. And
Yeah.
I'm working 2 jobs right now and full-time jobs and doing 99% of this stuff on my own. And it's just like, it just is like,
Right.
but it's weird, like what's falling into my path or just like the kind of ease in which this is all happening. I don't really believe that like things have to be as difficult with
No.
our passions and with what we love and work as we make it out to be. I don't.
Yeah.
I think that there's some falseness
agree.
of that. It's been a joy.
I agree. I actually just finished reading this book called The Biggest Loser Wins. It's actually this guy who is a like master options trader. And he talks about how he's like, I was a trader, so I needed to trade all day.
Yeah.
But I knew that my best work was done in the mornings.
Yeah.
But I still would force myself to trade all day, and I would win in the mornings and lose in the afternoons. And it was like a pattern. I'm like, what the hell am I doing? Just trade in the mornings, go surfing or go do whatever the hell I want in the afternoons.
Yeah.
And he's like, and I ended up making way more money. And it was like this big, like kind of like shot to me that was like, you don't have to do everything all the time. Like do what feels right and then just like go with that. And I'm like really embracing that more. I'm like, I can work less.
Yes.
Like it's okay.
That's exactly where I'm at.
Yeah.
And I feel like it's like I could beat myself up over feeling like I'm not doing this is especially if you're building a business, you'll always feel like you're not doing enough.
100%.
But there's this like freedom and acceptance over the fact that you can't. And I am the same way. I don't feel it just is, and it's okay.
I gotta send you this. So my manager, her name's Harley. She was the one that was on the podcast. Yeah. She sent me out of nowhere. She sent me this thing from this creator called, I think her name's Milana Snow. But it's a Kundalini yoga practice. And it's called HAR, and you for like 7 minutes you like go like this. It's like ridiculous kind of,
like
but you like go like this, and it's like you're bringing in the abundance, and you just go HAR like this, and it's 40 days. I'll send it to you, but it's like $30 or something. But like I'll buy it for you and send it because I want it. That's like passing it on is the point. So but yeah, and it literally when she sent it to me, I was like, all right, I'm just gonna lean in and do it because I thought it was kind of weird. And I started doing it, and I started getting all of these like weird messages, and like that's when Onomy reached out to me. That's when they reached out to me. And I was like, what the heck? And then this other company called Talentfly, they reached out to me, and I was like getting all these things that I would have never imagined. And I'm like, what is happening? And I'm like, har. more. So I just started it again because I was like, I'm really pushing my other, because I do a 2-business thing too. So I'm really pushing my other business right now. And I'm like, I need to get back into that flow. And like the thought, I think it's just like you, dedicate so much energy and thought and mindfulness to it.
I love that. That's so cool. I'm kind of same but different. Do you follow Gabby Bernstein at all? She's big into manifesting and like her kind of like practices. And I did like her 30-day challenge. I'm like, I'm told absolutely no one that. So I did that, and it was great. It's like I think that there's just something to be said about putting yourself into that mindset and creating that space for yourself. And it works.
It does.
It works.
Does.
It really does.
Okay. Switching gears here just a little bit. If someone was like coming to LA for the first time, where would you tell them to go?
Like in general? Or like
if they're like, I want to have a good time with friends, I'm just here for the weekend.
Okay.
Like obviously give them like, even a restaurant maybe, but like if they say I'm into partying or like want to go out, like is there like a good nightlife?
Oh, for sure.
Yeah.
I'm a very specific type of Angelino. Like I'm like, I call myself like a Goldilocks diner, like I want the ambiance and the food. I'm not very specific on either one. I kind of want it all. So if you were coming to LA, honestly, the first thing I would say to do would be to hit like the ultimate LA classics. Like there's something about like Tower Bar at Sunset Tower Hotel, or Chateau Marmont, or the Beverly Hills Hotel. Like I would go and spend the money, like just take in that, like, because it's equal parts like glamorous, historical, chic, fun. I mean, all the food at all of those places are pretty delicious.
So not the Hollywood Walk of Fame.
I would avoid that.
Avoid that at all costs.
I used to work on Hollywood Boulevard. That's at Live Nation.
Gosh.
So I lived that for 3 years, and that was tragic. I wouldn't do that at all.
I know people ask me all the time. They're like, "Where could I live in LA for like 7 years?" And I'm like, "Stay on the West Side. Don't go to Hollywood." No offense to anyone that likes it.
It's getting kind of cool though. That's
I've heard
it's surprising, and the Roosevelt's pretty wonderful. So if you were gonna do Hollywood Boulevard, do the Roosevelt. Like, that's good.
They have really cool shows in that underground.
Yeah. I mean, they have.
I saw a magic show there.
Very cool.
Yeah.
That's probably the only thing at least on that part of Hollywood Boulevard that I would say you should go to. But there's like a lot of really great stuff, especially in nightlife right now. Like on what is it? Not Cahuenga. It's oh, maybe it is Cahuenga. Like there's a trifecta of hotels right now. There's like the Dream, the Thompson, and the oh God, what's the other one?
Oh, I love Thompson.
I know, it's so good. What's
the
other one?
Shit, have you done Mama Shelter?
Mama Shelter's right there too.
Yeah.
But like there's like a plethora of like really good rooftops there.
Yeah.
And so there's Barley which is at I get them confused. I have too much LA information up here when people ask
just
me. I'm
go
like,
read her
let
blog.
me read my list.
Literally,
I have
go
to
read her
consult
blog.
my own blog and my own
Yeah.
friggin' Instagram. But Barley and Desert Five Spot are both rooftops, and they're right next to each other, and they have like pretty great nightlife if that's like something that you're looking for, like looking to go listen to a DJ, be somewhere with really, really great views. I think it's like it's a fun way to appreciate LA too. I go at like 6 o'clock when there's like nobody there. So I don't have to deal with that shit. I'm getting older. I'm not interested in, the club aspect of things now, but
what's been, so like with a brand deal or what's been the coolest one you've ever done?
Ooh, coolest brand deal I've ever done.
I saw you were in Hawaii, which I know is I mean, obviously that's different than Los Angeles. Was that a brand deal?
It wasn't actually. That was a friend. That was a girl that I've known for a long time. And she has a house out there and just was like, if you want to stay at the house in exchange for, I was like, say less.
That's what I want to do with my Airbnb too. I'm like, post about it.
That's when my job is like,
that's fun.
That's when
what's
it really
it? Shout it out. What's the?
It is called Kauai House, Kauai Beach House. It's on Kauai. I think it's called Beach House, Kauai Beach House. It's freaking amazing, and it's an amazing
putting
rental.
You on the spot.
No, it's good, and she's amazing. The house was like I'm not exaggerating when I say that was probably the best vacation I've ever been on.
It looked amazing. That's why I brought it up. I was like, it looks so nice.
Amazing.
The house looks great too.
Yeah, the house was great. Walked to everything. That was a blast. So that's when my job is like super, super fun.
Yeah.
Because it's like that's when I'm like happy to work on trade. You know, like that's an experience. I'll do that
any day. Yeah.
Gladly.
Yeah.
You know?
Yeah.
I don't know. I'd really have to think about it. I mean, geez, I've done so many now. It's
I'll do it for you.
Yeah.
I also saw you at the Venetian, and I was
that
so
was a good
fucking jealous.
That was a really
big
good one.
But I was so jealous. I was like, I live at the Venetian.
I do too.
The amount of money I've spent there. I'm like, guys, I'm here for the taking.
I know.
Whatever you want.
And it was like a culinary job too.
Yeah.
And they're like, where do you want? Have you been to? Like, I'm like, I've been to them all.
Yeah.
Like several times.
All of them.
I live here.
Yeah.
So
their
it was
food
nice
there
to go
is
and be paid.
amazing. Oh my god.
So,
tell us about what was the deal.
Oh, that was a blast. Yeah. So
what'd you have to
Vegas,
do?
like they go all out. You know, like they're not messing around. They're not no expenses, don't get paid. It's amazing.
Yeah.
So they picked me up in a limo, took me back to the airport in a limo.
Oh my gosh.
Like everything was comped. I mean, showed up. There was Vuv in the room.
Oh my god.
I mean, little chocolates that looked like little works of art.
Yeah.
But it was they were doing this like foodie experience for like all of the restaurants in the hotel and the hotel group had stations, and it was just
it's so nice. Did you get to bring someone?
I did.
Oh, yeah. Like being your friend is great.
Oh, it's
you get to
really
eat all
great.
the food and when you go and do restaurant ones, I know you do like a ton of where you'll obviously tell us like what you had and all the things. They obviously pay you for that, but did it
no, I never get paid ever.
Oh, really?
Never. I've never been paid.
You're just
for a
doing it
restaurant
to like okay, got it.
I will specify though that some of them are comped. Like sometimes the restaurants will comp the meal.
Yeah.
But it's not as often as I think people think it is.
Because I was gonna say, if I were you, I'd be slinging I'd be cold emailing every day, be like, I'm planning on coming to your restaurant. Yeah. What are you gonna give me?
It's kind of funny. Like, I mean, I've worked in hospitality a long time, specifically in restaurants. And it's tough. And restaurants, like they're
like, we don't need you really to post about us.
It's not even that. It's just like that they don't have the funds to be able to do that like other brands.
Right. The profit margins are.
So I'm really grateful for the trade if that's available because dining is expensive and my favorite type of dining
is very expensive. Yeah.
So I will take the trade if I can. And again, I'm very fortunate that I've built some really incredible relationships over the past 10 years with some amazing PR firms and some amazing people in the industry. But for the most part, it's either I'm buying or they offer, which is great. But I'm very specific to new restaurants, like especially like as I've moved forward, I've been able to kind of niche down a little bit, and it has to be stuff that's new. People like myself included, I want to know what's new.
Yeah. Do you get a ton of DMs from people like, oh, I tried your recommendation and blah blah? Yeah, that's so fun.
Yeah, it's really fun. It's really really it's I've really leaned into the dining aspect in the past couple years, especially. And I mean, this is when I'm like grateful for TikTok because that like was clearly when I was in the phase of trying to figure out what my presence
It's gonna
on
work.
that platform was going to be. It was clear that food and dining was the thing that was working for me. So I figured out, okay, this is what people want to see from me. I'm happy to provide.
Yeah.
And it's great. And now I have like more or less like a direction and a formula. Like whereas, for a long time it was not very clear what I was. I mean, I'm obviously specific to Los Angeles, but like, what was it specifically people wanted to hear from me? And it's like, it's nice having kind of carved out my own version of what like a foodie content creator is, because I feel like there's a lot of ways to do it. But I mean, I'm not heavily focused on, what are the best $5 tacos in LA?
Right.
Or, like
Right.
very foodie specific. I'm like, I'm all of it.
Try it
Again,
all.
I'm Goldilocks
Yeah.
diner. Like I want ambiance just as much as I want good food.
Yeah.
But if the ambiance is better than the food, I'm okay with that.
What was that place you went to? God, I'm such a creep. What was the place you went to that it was like you were sitting at the bar and then there was like people performing?
Oh,
Do you know what I'm talking about?
yes.
Yeah.
You're thinking of it was a pop-up dinner at Redbird.
Okay.
So the Redbird has this space called Vibiana, and it's an old historic church, and
Oh.
they host events in there.
Nice.
It's very, very cool.
That's
That one
chic.
was
Yeah.
wild. Redbird does the coolest stuff. I mean, their space is unbelievable. They
Yeah,
have
it
like
looked
lots of
yeah.
different dining spaces. If you've never been to Redbird, we've got to make that happen.
Yeah. Yeah.
But that was like they partnered with this like circus crew from San Francisco, and they were here for like a month, and it was
That
just
looks
like kind of
cool.
like a dinner and a show situation. You
Yeah.
know, like LA went off last year. We were like
Yeah.
we were making up for lost time. Like,
they really were.
Like this city just like exploded with experience and like
Yeah.
decadence and ridiculousness and fun and like
I love it.
butter.
I love it. I'm like so jealous
champagne.
of like I love LA. Like I don't live here now and I like cannot wait to come back. Like
Yeah.
I think I appreciate it more that I did leave.
Yeah.
But yeah, I love it. Also, question, how much alcohol is in this?
Regular. It's
Because-
that I think the red is 13%.
Oh.
That's amazing.
Yeah, and then
Yeah.
the white is 12.5.
I'm like, I'm feeling this,
always
but
get-
I haven't eaten, so that's probably why.
Yeah,
Yeah.
I was feeling it too. It's
Yeah.
so good, by
Yeah.
the way.
Thank
I
you.
freaking love it.
I'm glad.
very excited for you.
It's
Yeah.
yeah, it's funny because people are always like, "Oh," and I'm like, "You guys, that's wine."
Yeah, well, I forget.
Some
Sometimes
percentage
with
of
the
wine, I
canned
promise
things,
it's
it
nothing
seems
crazy.
like it's less.
Yeah.
With canned things
Yeah,
sometimes.
yeah.
So
And you know that is eventually something that I still want to. This is why I named it Best Coast Beverages instead of Best Coast Wines, because
Smart.
I definitely want to do in my
whole-
research. I loved. There's this. I forget what the Miami Cocktail Company. They're a wine-based canned cocktail wine, and I think that they're great. They
Yeah.
of all the canned cocktails, I was impressed by theirs. So it was like something with that, something with spritz, something having low ABV options. But starting with what I know and doing wine,
love
I'm
this.
launching the 2022 vintages in probably May or June.
Yay.
Yeah, so we're doing different wines. I'm very excited. But eventually, once I get all that funding that I'm manifesting,
Yeah.
we'll be able to expand the brand a little bit more. But yeah, this is what we're starting with, though, and because my philosophy was, especially with my deep research into this, there's nothing more depressing than opening a can that's flat.
Yeah.
Even if you don't think of it and you don't realize
That's
it,
so true.
it's
yeah.
weird.
So it's a fizzy. It
there's
even
like a
says
psychology,
fizzy. Yeah.
even for me, that it's just like you don't want to drink still
That's smart.
anything out of a can. It's
Yeah.
just weird. So adding the effervescence, kind of like, especially like when you first crack the can open, it gives you that satisfaction of like, oh, there's a fizz. Like, oh, like
Yeah.
okay, this is really satisfying. This is really like thirst quenching. And then beautiful thing is, it's just like as it warms up, or you hold, it just turns. It's just wine,
love
and
it.
it's just as pleasurable at the last sip as it was when you first opened it.
Yeah.
So
So tell everyone where they can find you and your wine and anything else you want to share.
well, let's see. You could find me personally at Love and Loathing LA. And then Best Coast is just at Best Coast Beverages. And then
.com?
bestcoastbeverages.com and loveandloathingla.com. Still got the blog going strong.
Nice.
I
You still
know.
post daily?
Not daily, but I
Often.
keep right now it's a lot of like it's just maintenance on my more cornerstone blog posts, you
Yeah.
know, like best new restaurants.
Yeah,
or,
like keeping everything up to date.
Just keeping those like really important blog posts and my guides, because I do a lot of
It's amazing.
that. I think that's probably for the blog, that's probably the most useful aspect of it, is like the guides, my guides to like Saint Inez and Napa, things like that, travel wise, because that's helpful to have a little bit more longer form information.
Yeah. Well, thank you so much for coming on the podcast. This was so great. I could like, we got the little time thing and I was like, dang it. But like, I could keep talking to you forever. I was like, no. But thank you so much. And I literally, anyone that's going to travel to LA, if you live in LA, definitely follow her. I don't even live here and I'm never going to stop following you. So
please never do. Message me anytime. I am always around, and I live for this. Like, people are always surprised when I respond. I'm like, don't be surprised. This is my job. I live for this. Like, please message me anytime. I want everybody's experience, especially in Los Angeles, to be a delight and delicious. If you want Best Coast, you can add to the whole experience.
Thank you. And I'm sure we'll hang out soon. Okay. Bye, everybody.
Thanks for listening to That Onomy podcast. Onomy is a creator-led educational platform that teaches you the things you wished you learned in school so you can thrive in adulthood. Onomy lessons are completely free, and they're taught by some of your favorite creators from around the internet. Head to onomy.co to start learning about things like budgeting, investing, taxes, how to thrive in your relationships, how to find your dream job, and so much more. That's onomy.co, onomy.co. See you there.